Many of you probably have noticed over the years that I rarely speak about the political process or the politics of this nation. I was asked about the vote, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, and all these different things. And I really don't have a comment. I'm not interested in the political systems of this nation. Whatever will be, will be. Unless, of course, there's some way I can take advantage of those political parties, of that political system for my own benefit, for my own gain, whereas I'm seeking a key to open up the door of the jail I have been incarcerated in. Other than that, I'm not interested in the politics of this nation. I don't care nothing about being a liberal. I don't care nothing about you being a conservative. I don't care about the right winger. I don't care anything about the left wing. I don't care nothing about the chicken wing, or whatever the politics. All of it is bull. It's a waste of conversation for people that have no power. You are not respected. You have no power. You're just sitting here. So what can politics do for you? It was the politics of this nation that caused you, our ancestors, to be in the position that they found themselves in as slaves. Physical slaves for over 300 years, over 100 years of Jim Crow and the black codes. It was the politics. It was done legal. Slavery was legal. It was voted in by the liberal, by the conservative, the right wing, the left wing, all this crap that y'all foam at the mouth about. Hours and hours of conversation that don't mean and will lead to nothing. I'm not going to waste my time and your time speaking about the politics of a racist system that is an enemy to myself and have been an enemy to my grandmothers, my grandfathers, my great aunts, my great uncles, and all those prior to myself. And I have found myself a victim of the politics of a racist political system. I could care less. I don't give a dang about the politics, but I hear people all the time. The politics. It's nothing but feel-good talk. Make you sound intelligent. All the conservative and the right-wing liberal, blah, blah, a bunch of slaves talking about some stuff that you have no idea. You don't know what it's all about, period. Many of those involved in the political system don't know what it's about. I remember back in the 90s, I went to a baseball game sponsored by the Young Republicans. Went to see the St. Louis Cardinals at this baseball game. Again, sponsored by the Young Republicans. I decided to ask the Young Republican exactly what is a Young Republican. And they are just going through the motions. They really did not know what the Republican Party is, how it was founded, or anything, or what a Republican is. Only thing I know is I'm a young Republican, and we're here watching this baseball game. They ain't really, and that's the way it is for most of you. You're going through the phases. You're going through the loophole. You're going through the how can I explain it? Going through the motions of something called Republican. Going through the motions of something called Democrat. You don't know what the hell, you don't know what none of that stuff means. And clearly, it has done nothing to change the condition in your neighborhoods. The soul brothers and sisters, you still suffer probably even worse than you did a few decades ago or even hundreds of years ago. It's nothing but feel-good talk. The usual having hope and faith in your massa. You hope that these racists in control will have mercy on you and accept you finally. That's all it's about, acceptance. You want to be part of their world. I don't want to be part of their world. I don't give a dang about their politics. I want my own or nothing at all. And you are so silly and so selfish and so arrogant. And you say that there is some type of benefit to politics. But yet the only way, we all know that the only way you can take advantage of politics is that you belong to a group and that group acts as one, unites as one. But this Negro is a liberal Republican. This Negro is a conservative Democrat and all this other nonsense. You can't even come together and say, look, we're going to take advantage of the political system. It has loopholes. We can benefit from those loopholes, take advantage for our benefit. We must come together. This is our purpose. This is our goal. All of us, regardless if you are Republican or Democrat or wherever you find yourself, we must unite on this purpose, this goal, and let's go for it. And then by using that political process, you will make the racists angry because you will use the same system that put chains on you, put chains on your ankles and put chains on your feet, in fact, have a chain on your mind. You will take advantage of the system and actually make that system benefit you. Oh, well, but see, your next problem is they will change the system because you didn't create it, you don't control it, you don't own it. So when they see that you are taking advantage of something, quite naturally, like always, they will go in and change everything. But until then, be smart enough to take advantage. But you're not smart enough. You just want to go through the motions of feeling good. Sounding like you're intelligent. I'm a liberal. I still have this. What is this? I still have this. Somebody left this on my door one time. I still have it. It's a memento, I guess. Door crap, whatever. There are those who are still brown-nosing Obama. Obama clearly did not take advantage of his position and the fact that he's a person of color and do something for people of color. He could have helped empty some of these prisons out. He could have done this. He could have done this. This fella didn't do anything, but there are those who want to defend and protect and talk about, who cares? He's a murderer, just like all United States presidents. He's a liar, just like all United States presidents. So what? Because he's a person of color. I'm not interested in talking about and defending him. Did he defend you? What did he do for you? You simply want to defend him because he's a person of color, because the white folks didn't like him. I'm not going to again, political garbage. It's not worth talking about. I could care less. As long as you live here in America, politics or not, there will always be a glass ceiling for you. Even in the political arena, there's a glass ceiling that you can't go above. You have to ask another man permission to do something when you're supposed to be part of this country, this nation. But you have to ask and beg other people. Give me the right to do this. Give me the right to do that. Can I have the right to say this? Can I have the right to say that? And you call yourself a man. I would rather do without than beg another man, some sucker, in a house that's supposed to belong to you. This house called the United States of America is supposed to belong to the Caucasian people, to the Native American people, to the Chinese Americans, to the Somali Americans, all of us who are considered Americans, but yet still we have to bow down and beg a certain group because they control certain things, because they don't look at everybody. They're not looking at what is in the best interest of everybody. If the so-called black community is suffering, then all of America should be looking at that community and say, look, we have a segment of our citizenry that has a problem. We have to work to get them on the same level as we all are. But you don't have that. The Chinese Americans laugh at the black folks. The Caucasian laugh at the black folks in the community. Even the Africans and the Bosnians and everybody laugh at the black community. Other Americans. What does this tell you? This tells me that I don't need to be around suckers like this. The real solution is not politics. Waiting for some sucker to cause a change. What is that? Make a change. Begging and hoping and pleading. Having faith in races. Have faith and hope and have some charity upon yourself. Some mercy on yourself. The real solution to the problems of the so-called Negro in America, whether we like it or not. And I know it's very difficult because this is all that we know. But separation is the real solution. You do yourself a disservice not to put separation on the table. If not for you, then begin a process that will start an exodus so that your future generations, if you do not take over the government, then you need to separate from up out of these people. You need to get away from them. You do yourself a disservice because as long as you are here, there will be a glass ceiling. And whenever you have a glass ceiling, that means you and I, we will not be able to reach and obtain our highest potential. That is not right for you to pass on to your children. They still have to beg another group of Americans when we all supposed to be the same. We have to beg and plead and hope that another group will have mercy on us and give us an opportunity. I'm not supposed to beg another group for opportunity. As an American citizen, I'm supposed to have the opportunity just like any other American in this nation. But of course, as we all know, this is false. This is delusion. It's not real. But you should take a real response. You should make a real response and take real action on separation. So if you're going to use the political system, if you're going to use education, if you're going to use money, whatever you think that you can use, if the main goal is not separation, then you are dooming your children to a life of slavery, a life of comfortable slavery that you find yourself in, and you really consider yourself a man or woman, but that's why they still call you boy. That's why they still consider you girls and boys.
But I just love it because, it's always been in my heart. It's always been in my mind, and it's something that I live for. I can't stop doing it. And I just want to share everything with the world. Shout out to the brother Taalik that made the video about supporting me yesterday. Shout out to you. I just want to thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, well, I have to laugh. I have to laugh because, well, what is the latest thing that the so-called Negro, African Americanists, what is it that y'all believe in now? Now you are spreading like wildfire this thing called the flat earth theory. It has to be a theory. I don't even know how you even come to the conclusion that the earth is flat. Now, mind you, that the racist pink Europeans, a long time ago in their history, they believed that the planet that we know of as Earth is flat. And there was a lot of fear if you got on a boat, a ship, you get on the boat, and you can only go so far, and you will fall off. That's what they believed. They did that in their ignorance. As time went on, they changed their mind and began to view the world, this planet, as some type of sphere that has that's a circular like. Not to say that this planet is a perfect circle, but it's circular in form. And that is what they have stuck to since becoming civilized and modern. However, when they were primitive and ignorant, they said that the earth was flat. Now, here we are in 2017, and you have those who have decided, because of their superior intellect, and I don't know how they come to these conclusions, that they know more than the scientists and they know more than those who have actually studied this planet. Some of them have actually went around the world, and they noticed that they did not fall off for whatever reason. Because if it's flat, you have to come to some type of end. If it's in a sphere, if it's in a circle, you can go round and round. But if it's on a flat surface, you have to come to an end and fall off. Right? As far as I know, there's no reports of somebody falling off this planet. Well, gravity held them in. They fell off, and they went up under there. Whatever. Okay. See, this raises another question. Now, since you believe that the earth is flat, then why, when we study or even look into the stars, all the stars of the planets are circular? There is none that's triangle. There's none that's square. There's none that's rectangular. They are all circular in nature. When you look at the sun, it looks like you're looking at a circle. When you look at the moon, it looks like you're looking at a circle. When you look at the star, whatever planet, get your telescope and look out into the universe. All these planets and things that's out here, they look circular in nature. But for some reason, I don't know, out of all these planets and stars, when it comes to the earth is flat. Yeah, I don't know. How do you explain it? Well, I don't know, but It seems like every other day, every other weekend, the so-called Negro has something new they want to believe in. Something, some new conspiracy theory, something that they're tossing out there. Now, mind you, the flat earth theory, the 911 theory, the Steve Stephens videos are hoax. The guy that just shot these white folks, white guys, that's a hoax. You know, it's so much crap. But you notice the main thing they don't like talk about everything else under the sun, all these theories and conspiracies and all this black scholarship knowledge or whatever, but they never talk about getting this beast off their back once and for all. They never talk about, let's challenge as a man. We're going to challenge another man. Either we're going to work together or you're not going to bully me. I'm not going to be under your control. They never talk about that. I am an American citizen, so you say, and you're going to give me what's mine. But instead of that type of conversation, we're talking about how the earth is flat. The earth is flat and you're still a Negro slave. The earth is flat and you're still comfortable in your oppression. The earth is flat and another man controls your destiny. And you're still called a boy. You're still called a monkey. You're still called a nigger. And the earth is flat. So when you finish with the earth being flat, when you finish with all these conspiracy theories and all this other stuff, the women, the black women wear weaves and the black men do this and whatever y'all coming up with. When y'all finish with all that stuff, the bottom line is that you live in a racist nation that oppress you. A racist nation that views you as a boy, that views you as a chump. And you sit back and you take it. And the only thing you can talk about, the earth is flat. And the reason you do that is because the people you follow, they ain't about nothing. Except entertainment. That was a good speech. Umar was talking about Tariq Rashid or whatever his name is. That he sure put it down on his BlogTalk show last night. Sarah Susan said it. Did you see what was on Black News? All this stuff ain't accomplishing nothing to cause your mind to tell this beast once and for all, it's over. Not gonna be the hell if the earth is flat. The hell with all this other conspiracy. I don't care if it is a hoax. I just know the reality is I have this beast that's on my back and I'm gonna get rid of you. That's what I'm gonna talk about 24 hours a day. All this other stuff is nonsense. Mickey Mouse fairy tale stuff. It's a reason and an excuse. Or what Trump gonna do. And the political, all this other garbage is because you don't want to face the reality that another man got his foot up your backside and you scared to deal with him. So let's talk about everything under the sun except getting this man's backside out of my backside. I mean, get his foot out of my backside. I'm sorry. Woo! That's the only talk that you should be about and striving to be about. Otherwise, you need to keep your mouth shut because y'all sound so stupid and silly. But then, of course, what do you expect from slaves? That's all. So I'm not shocked. Nothing but a bunch of black power slaves, Hotep slave, Christian slave, Republican slaves, Democratic slaves, and pretty soon you will return to that state where you're most comfortable. an actual physical slave, you won't have to worry about, I wonder what it was like being a slave back. No, you are going to doom your children to that way of life. Because this, what you see here is a facade. It's an illusion. And it's falling. And when all the pieces fall, and you don't know where your place is, then those who know their place will give you a place. And that place will be with the rest of the livestock. With the chickens and the goats and the sheep and the cows. Livestock. So with that said, y'all really need to grow up and get real. Laying around here talking and running your mouth. And you have people that's scheming on you every day while you're sitting around in foolishness talking about how flat the earth is. Wow. How do I begin this brief talk with us? I want to begin by speaking about an often spoken of quote or phrase from religious teachings, and that is where they talk about walking in the valley of the shadow of death. And because of your faith and your belief in God, I fear no evil. So I am a 74-year-old man. And I am just trying to go home or wherever it is that's on my mind at that moment in time. And that's what I'm concentrating on. I'm going to where I wish to go. And this car pulls up next to me. This young man asking me, do you know Joy Lane? And of course, I don't know who Joy Lane is. Well, Joy Lane is the reason why this is going to happen to you. And so on a Facebook Live video, we see this 74-year-old African American man or black man or this elderly soul brother. We see him gunned down. I'm not going to get off into it was a hoax and all this other. I'm going to use this as an example because it's a reality in our valley that we live. And where do you live? You live in the valley of the shadow of death. And you do fear evil. You fear evil. That is why you lock your car. You fear evil. That's why many of you carry a gun. Many of you carry a knife. And you lock your doors at home. There was a time when I was a child. We did not lock doors. The only thing you would do is close the screen door behind you. The door was not locked. And the screen door was not locked. But now we have entered the time with no doubt, even though even during that period of time it still exists. But now it's even more so. And it is made clear that we all now walk in the valley of the shadow of death. and you believe in God, you believe in Muhammad, and you believe in Allah and Jesus and Jehovah and whatever, but you do fear evil, unlike what the scriptures talk about. We become easy victims because unlike the deer, if you see the deer, they go to the water hole or they are grazing, the deer always keeping an eye out for danger. Do you know why the deer are keeping a watch, looking for danger? Is because they understand. And all animals understand in this life. And we should understand living in this society, living in this world, that we walk in the valley of the shadow of death. So you never know when the tiger gonna show up. You never know when the fox or the wolf or lions or whatever is gonna show up. So you have to be on your guard. But this 70-year-old man, for some reason, and in our society, we become complacent in our behavior. And it is not being paranoid, but you are naive to believe that you're not living in the valley of the shadow of death. So when this car starts slowing down, that was the first sign to this old man. Now mind you, 74 years old, there's not too much that you can do anyway. You can't run that quick. I mean, come on, there's not too much that you can do. But when this car first began to pull up like that, nature should have told you to be on guard. Nature should tell us, and you teach your children, don't trust strangers. All of us are guilty of this. When somebody smiles, somebody needs help. There are people on the side of the road. You pull up to help them, and they pull out a gun and rob you. You know why? Yes, of course. Because we live in the valley of the shadow of death. Has nothing to do with paranoia. It's dealing with a situation that is real. So I bring up this man, and I should have looked up his name because I would like to say his name. But many of you are familiar with this elderly soul brother who has now gone to the ancestors, if there is such a place, who was murdered live, senselessly. But see, in the valley of death, your death does not have to make sense. The only reality is you don't exist no more. You are dead. Time means nothing for you. And speaking of time, the reason why we don't act is because we believe we have all the time in the world. And you don't. And anything that is alive knows that it does not have all the time in the world. But if you're dead, and in the case of the so-called Negro, since we are called spiritually or mentally dead, then time stops. There is no time. So we keep talking about, I'm going to build a nation. It never gets done. I'm going to do this. It never gets done. Because we think we have all the time in the world. But time does not exist no longer when you're dead. Time stops. This is your problem. Death, you're surrounded by death everywhere. But you blend in. You are physically alive, but you are mentally dead. So it's easy for you to become a victim of the predators that's lurking in the valley of the shadow of death. And you should fear that evil, but since you're dead already, it does not take too much to go ahead and snuff your life out. Because you will do nothing to protect it. Anything that is alive, even a roach, will do everything that it can to protect their life. The best thing that the soul brother and the soul sisters of America can do is to separate itself and leave this valley of death. You would think that watching this elderly man be murdered live, it would make you want to leave out of this environment of death and destruction and violence, but it does not. You should want to separate yourself from out of it. You are surrounded by pedophiles and drug addicts and rapists and people who are gender confused and racist and porn addicts and pornography and drunks. The music is nasty and vulgar and the movies are violent. But it is no shock because you're living in the valley of death, and death is entertainment. So we can watch this video of this man and talk about it for days and days and days because death is senseless. And death means nothing to somebody else who is dead mentally. Because if you wish to protect your life, then you will do what's necessary. And you do not see deers living with lions. You don't see deers living with tigers. You see them staying as far away as they can from that which will threaten their life. But you don't. You live right here with the racists, the pedophiles, and the drug addicts, and all the riffraff in the valley of the shadow of death. You think that separation is a bad thing. We shouldn't separate. You shouldn't want to separate. The pink Europeans, when they felt they were being persecuted, when they felt that their life was being threatened, they left Europe, religious persecution or whatever, and they were willing to risk their lives to separate from those that was threatening their lives. Because you're going to die anyway. Either you're going to die trying to tolerate and live with those who threaten your life and the welfare of your children, or you're going to die on a boat trying to get away from those who wish to take your life. They decided the latter. Many of them did die in the process, but when it was all said and done, they got away from those. So they created an environment besides the hatred of the native people, but they created an environment where they didn't have to be so paranoid or so on the defensive, so alert against danger. But the black man and woman, the soul brothers and sisters of America, whether you admit it or not, you know when a police officer come to your car. You know when you file an application for employment or housing and you have to worry about being discriminated against or shot in the back 8 times, or they find you hung in your cell over a traffic ticket. You know why? Because you have decided to voluntarily stay and live in the valley of the shadow that belongs to death. And then the only thing you want to do is come on TV and cry. My husband was shot in the back. Cry, cry, cry. My little boy, it was a toy gun. Cry, cry, cry. The only thing you know how to do is shed tears instead of trying to protect your life, because you don't want to offend the people who are out there, the predators that's waiting to take your life. And the predators might pay you certain people, they might give you $1 million. So you're saying that your life is worth $1 million. There are people who wouldn't mind paying you. Could I kill you if I give you $2 million and put you out somewhere so they can hunt you? If that's the game that y'all playing, there are people who are willing to give you $5 million, $10 million, so they can hunt and kill you. If that's the kind of game y'all playing. But this is the type of madness and insanity that we find from those who are living in what we call, the religious teachings call, in the valley of the shadow of death.
But I just love it because, you know, it's always been in my heart. It's always been in my mind, and it's something that I live for. I can't stop doing it. And I just want to share everything with the world. Shout out to the brother Taalik that made the video about supporting me yesterday. Shout out to you. I just want to thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Excuse me, let me get settled here. This is the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am Angel Snub 7, your soul brother number 1. Just being casual, I really would like to take this brief moment in time to speak with my fellow soul brothers. Soul brothers of whom some of you may call black woman bashers. I don't want to call you a black woman basher. For some of you, that might be, it might be true. However, I don't like that label. I don't like that description, because when it's all said and done, at the root of our mentality, our attitude, at the root of it, whether you are a black woman basher or whether or not you are a black man basher, at the heart, at the root of these things is personal hurt and pain. Not only is it personal hurt and pain, but it is a hurt and pain that we suffer as a group. I cannot say that we suffer as a people, because we have not become a people at this time. We are called a people, but we are not a people. Because a man or a male within a people will not come out on social media and speak against his woman the way that black men do, nor would the black female do to the black man what she has done. We are in these groups, and we are victims of this society, but yet instead of striking out at the society, in most cases, victims of abuse, they strike at each other. So the black man blames his hardship and his degradation and the things, because he can't, his inability to be a man, to be successful, he blames on the black woman, and vice versa, and she does the same to the male. And so now, instead of striking out and understanding what has caused this dilemma, this condition, we strike out at one another. And nothing will ever get done, because nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves. So I want to reach out, not as an enemy. I must defend the black woman. I can't help that. But I am not the enemy to the soul brother, men and boys that's out here in the world. I'm not your enemy. But you need to understand, and we need to understand what has happened to us. And understand the process to create a solution that will free yourself and the woman that you really love. You don't hate black women. You don't dislike black women. You really love her. Because to hate the black woman is to hate yourself. To hate the black woman is to hate your mother. To hate your auntie. To hate your sisters and your female cousins and so forth. And you really don't hate yourself like that. But it's frustrating because you don't know what to do. Let us sit here and let us talk and let us try to figure out what we really need to do. And certainly it is not running around here making more blog talk shows talking about why women wear weaves and why black men do this and the black woman is a hair hat hooligan and all this other childish nonsense. It is time that we mature. It is time that we grow up. And to begin the process of maturity to grow up means we must accept responsibility for ourselves first. You and I must accept responsibility for us as a person. And then we as a male gender, we must put all other males in check. We must deal with us as an individual, as a person, but then we must deal with ourselves as a gender, a male, soul male gender. I want to give us this little story to help us and give us an idea of what we're dealing with. I was a bully. I was not a bully. I was a victim of a bully for years. And I went to the principal. Nothing was done. I went to the parents of the bully. Nothing was done. Went to the police. Nothing was done. You get the picture. Nothing was done. I was bullied to the point where I did not pass from the 9th to the 10th grade. No, I failed my sophomore year in high school because I stopped going to school due to fear of this bully. But one day, and this is what you must understand, I got to the point where I stood all I can stand. I cannot stand no more. And I decided, me and Mr. Bully, this is the showdown. And the bully was laughing at me. I went to the bully's locker. He opened up his locker. I shut his locker back and it locked. And the bully was taken by surprise. He was like, look, little dude, what is your problem? My problem is you, and the buck stops here. See, I know that you can beat me up. I know that you can hurt me. But at the same time, you have to use the bathroom. And when you're sitting on the toilet, I'll take a crowbar and bust you upside your head. You're going to turn your back. I'll take a brick and bust you upside your head. I'll get a kitchen knife and stab you in your back. So if that's how you want to live, then that's how you live. So you better do more than just beat me up. You better kill this one. And the bully took me very, very seriously. And not only the bully, I had no problems out of nobody in the whole school no more. So what are you trying to say, brother? Now, prior to getting this bully off my back, I was lashing out at people that had nothing to do. Listen, I was lashing out against my sisters and other people, other friends, because of the pressure this bully was putting on me. Now, I should have been raising my voice to the bully, but I talk back to my mother. I talk back to my sisters. I talk back to friends. I talk big, bad, and tough to everybody except the bully. And that's how you are. That's how we are as men in this society. You want to talk about the black woman. You want to talk about black children. You want to talk about everybody except the real one that's giving you your problems. You want to talk about everybody except the real threat to your manhood. You don't want to talk about and deal with once and for all against this racist pink man. That's what it's really all about. You are scared of him, like I was, the bully. He kills you all the time. Goes to court and lets the killer get free. Denies you employment, discriminates against you, do all kinds of bully things against us. Huh? Now you tell me if I'm right or wrong. That's the problem. I don't care what kind of car you have. I don't care what kind of house you have, your degree. You know and I know in this society, I don't care if you Jay-Z or Will Smith or whoever, or President Obama, all of us that's in the category with this dark skin, you know what we are called. We are called niggas. You are called boys. We are called boys and coons. And matter of fact, some of you have gotten to the point we call ourselves that. You a coon. You a boy. You nigger. That's how it is with a victim. A victim is called a certain name, and then the victim starts believing it themselves. But then one day, I stood up against that bully and got that bastard off my back once and for all. And like I said, not only him. See, it's called, you got to gain your respect. You want black women to respect you as a man. But the black woman see that another man is punking you out. But see, when you get this dude off your back, you'll see a whole different attitude. Just like when I got that bully off my back, the whole school saw and viewed me differently. When you get this cracker off your back, once and for all, then as men, stop thinking about getting some booty, because that's what it's all about to some of y'all. You just want to sleep with somebody. You want somebody's vagina. That's all that you want. That's not what it's about. It's about your manhood. You'll get all that. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. You're going to get it all. You're going to get it all. But once you got to get this freak off your back, get this racist freak off your back once and for all, then you get land for these women and you build houses for them. Create factories and jobs for yourself and her and our children. Become independent of these races. Do your own thing. Create your own monetary system. Grow your own food. Make your own clothes. Educate your babies. And when you take responsibility for yourself, and now you got your act together, Now you can stand up and you can talk to these women and you can tell them, I got housing for you. I got land for you. I'm educating our children. I'm doing everything that a man supposed to do. You don't have to worry about this pink cracker messing with us all the time. I took care of him, baby. Now you are in a position where you can talk. But then you will find out you don't have to talk that much because she'd be so happy to see you like that. She'd be like, woo, that's my man. I knew he had it in him all the time. Woo, look at these black men. Woo, I love them so much. You don't have to worry about her mouth. You don't have to worry about her. When you said, baby, I don't want you wearing weaves. I don't like that. She has no problem taking the weave out of her hair, taking the makeup off, whatever you don't like, because she loves you. Woo, I love this man. He's bad. I got land I can call my own. I'm eating corn that we grow ourselves. Oh, woo, this guy is, woo. But right now, all this crying and whining because you and I, we failed to get this threat, this fella off our back. Get him off.
We're talking about not falling into the teacher trap, not falling into the website trap. So today, what teachers can you learn from? We just told you that the Akawu tells you that we're all a great teacher at the same time. So who are you going to learn from? You're going to learn from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives from brothers like Sa Neter. You're going to learn the positives and negatives of people like Brother Polite. The positives and negatives of people like Sarah Sutin Seti. You're going to learn from Maurice Muhammad, Taalik Ibn'rad. You're going to learn from Nettercat. You're going to learn, you definitely going to learn from King Noble. You definitely going to learn a little something something from Brother Daku. But we ain't the only teachers in the world. There are other people in your lives right now that are teaching you things that you need to know. Now, do you follow your teacher every single place and everywhere? Not necessarily. But if you got a good teacher, your teacher is going to teach you how to think, not what to think. And if you learn how to think, then you can be critical of all information. You can question anything. Your teachers ain't going to get mad. Huh? Your teacher, if he's truly your teacher, give me the question. Bring them on. If I can't answer the question, then I'm going to meditate on it, reflect on it, and try to get back with you with the answer, get back to you with the answer. But I'm also going to encourage you to think. It's important for you to think. You're not just my student, you're also my teacher. I'm not your teacher, I'm also your student. Don't fall into the teacher trap. This has been Daku Akabo Wakatu.